What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here with another review, doing X-Men Red #1. And you see all this fire? You see all that? That's the garbage burning from within this book because it is awful. First, the cover, I don't understand this. So part of Marvel Legacy was this whole thing that they were going to have nice unified trade dressing, and you had like the nice little block and the faces, and you had the stripe on top, Marvel Legacy, not just Marvel. And you had the storylines, and I kind of liked the fact that they had the storylines on the top. But your numbering's down here. This looks like early 2017, 2016 trade dressing, and it makes it confusing when you pick up this book because it doesn't look like all the other books on the shelf. So I don't know if Marvel is going away from this. I don't know if this is an oversight from what they're doing, but I didn't like it. I don't like the cover. But the cover is indicative of the inconsistency and the creepiness that's inside. And I say that because if you read Phoenix Resurrection, it kind of leaves off on a really depressing note. Jean comes back. She killed Scott Summers again to get rid of the Phoenix Force, and then she's just kind of left there. And when I first started reading this book, I had a lot of questions, and I thought the beginning of the book was very stupid. And it is very stupid. And then it kind of does a little flashback thing. And then it went from stupid to like really creepy. And I'll show you. So we start off, there's a little girl, and she's woken up by someone in her head, telling her to get out of her house before a hate mob comes in to get her. And, through the many, many decades of Marvel Comics and the X-Men, there have been many iterations of government and private mutant control forces. So the fact that a neighborhood gets all pitchforky and shotgunny over a little girl is a little, I don't know. It doesn't fit in this world. And again, even her mom wants to shoot her, calls her an abomination, which, one, that's effed up. If your kid had two heads, you'd love your kid, whether or not it had two heads. But of course, Jean Grey comes in to save the day. And so Jean drawn right here is pretty good. And from here, and I say pretty good, she has like her ribs showing through her suit. And it's kind of like a takeaway from her like 90s suit, but it's very, I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. I don't like that this team has kind of like a treasure troll, like X-Men thing going on. What happened to like the sweet, just a belt or like, like the shoulder badge or whatever. No, now you got like a troll jewel right in your belly button. So as I first started reading this, I was like, okay, so who's on the team? So instantly we see Kurt. I get that Kurt and Jean go way back in the X-Men. Then you get new Wolverine, X-23. So they come in, Jean shields him from the bullets, Kurt teleports him out of there to this their undersea lair, which I guess is Atlantis. It doesn't say it's Atlantis, but later on in the book it would make me think that Atlantis is going to be like some sanctuary city. And again, I don't like this. And there's at one point in the book where, who did the art on this? We had like 8 artists. Oh, those are variant covers. Muhammad Asrar. You could tell he took a picture of like Sophie Turner and tried to draw like Jean to look like Sophie Turner, which again, Sophie Turner is like the worst movie Jean Grey out of all two of them, but we're splitting hairs. So you kind of get this, like, you know, she's like, hey, you're here, you're in Cerebro, because they're under the sea. Cerebro. Puns are fun. So she says, don't worry, the hate can't get you here. And again, this little girl never expressed what her powers was. No one knows. It's just whatever. So then you kind of get like the team lineup, and you get Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, Namor, and so you get them here too. Gentle, Namor, Nightcrawler, Jean Grey, Trinary, I don't know who that is. Honey Badger, I think she's just from the X-23 books, and then Wolverine X-23. But it looks like the main team will be these 5. And I don't get it. I get these 2. I could even see these 2. But Namor, I don't understand. And he comes into play later on, and I can see why he would be interested. But the fact that he's on an X-Men team just doesn't sit with me. So we kind of go back to then, you know, a couple weeks later, there's a car heist. The woman gets thrown out. But of course, as they're driving away, the baby starts crying. It's a mutant. You know, got some decent art, you know, some trace art here, but, you know, of a car ad. And so, of course, Wolverine and Honey Badger come and try and protect him or save the baby, quiet him, and she puts his hand over, you know, her hand over the mouth. And it's like, okay, well, that's a lot better. But then he, of course, like blasts right through her hand. And I'm going to go fast because there's a lot going on in here, and I want to try and get as much in as I can. So then Jean kind of saves the day once again, and this is where it starts getting creepy. So Jean sits here, she saves the day, and she goes over to the mom in this conversation right here. So she says, mutant powers don't usually come on until adolescence, but they can occasionally manifest earlier, especially times in great stress. I've given him a psychic suggestion to not cry so much. So she, Jean Grey, is now admitting she is messing with a child's brain so he doesn't cry so much. Babies cry for a reason. Babies cry when they're hungry, when they have a Duke in their diaper, when they've pissed themselves, when they're just in a bad mood. They cry. So by you limiting the amount of time that he's crying, you are preventing him from being able to communicate. You have now stifled this child's communication. This right here is also proof that she turned Bobby Drake gay. Oh, I just put a little suggestion in your brain that you like the dick. So anyway, so she kind of has the, you know, little bit of a suggestion, you know, she puts the suggestion to help the mother be able to get some sleep. And they like, I guess Hank is going to develop a dampener necklace. And then I thought this book felt weird. And of course, look at this, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-page ad. I didn't care too much about this book because it wasn't in the middle of an action scene and this book sucked. So then, of course, we get the generic 2 white anchors arguing over a point, and of course, the angry white dude is like, mutants, you know, we're gonna, you know, we gotta kill them all. And it's funny because right here, so he says, that baby was a ticking time bomb from the moment its conception, you know. And she says, he's a child, holds, you know, he has 10 fingers, 10 toes. You know, he's like, well, the voice can burst eardrums. And he's like, what do you propose? So right here, he's saying, hey, you're a mutant from birth. Now, what he says, you know, if you are a mutant, what you should do, I don't agree with. But he's saying, if you're a mutant from conception, which, again. And then, of course, she's like, what would you have them do? Like, you know, he's like, genetic testing. So then, of course, Jean doesn't like all this, and she's going to go out, and she hears the world. And this is where we went from, like, a little creepy, where Jean is messing with one little baby's mind, to, like, really creepy. So she goes and sees all of these leaders and wise men, and she's like, I need to get an idea from you people. So she essentially just probes all of their brains, and she comes up with this master plan. And it's like, but of course, she just gives us a little glimpse of it. But she tells Nightcrawler to the point where he's like, it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful plan. But then, of course, and she's like, well, if I need this plan to work, I need a nation behind me. So, of course, what nation does she go to? But Atlantis, because they're always, like, the friendliest people in the world. So she goes there to get Namor to speak on her behalf, not on her behalf, but to back her at the United Nations. Because she wants to unveil this grand master plan. There's a little more after that. Oh boy, again, this book leads me to believe that Jean Grey is going to become some sort of dictator of sorts, where she is going to try and change everyone's mind in the world to, like, get everyone to think right. I don't even know if I'm going to pick up the second one. This one was a pretty tough read. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe over here, watch some more videos, and hit up the comments, and I will see you next time.